First thing I want to go over is your runes. Personally, water walking and Nimbus Cloak, I wouldn't go these runes. Especially with this comp, if you did opt for sorcery, I would have definitely gone Nullifying Orb because they have Jax, his W, and his R do magic damage. Diana, obviously all magic damage. Mordekaiser, mostly magic damage. And Leona, mostly magic damage. Camille doesn't do any magic damage, but that's whatever. So Nullifying Orb is probably would have been better than Nimbus Cloak or even Water Walking. So yeah, that's what I want to say about that. Your primary tree is fine. So yeah, I have no. Okay, you went 5-5. Yeah, and you went 6 armor too in your flex. Or is it flex? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
flex. Or,
flex.
yeah, so I would have definitely gone magic resist there.
Yeah.
The jungle matchup, you do not beat him until 6, as the case with most champions when it comes to KhaZix. He will just counter strike your passive auto, and then most of your damage is gone. He'll just kill you. So you want to avoid Jax until 6.
Okay.
When you get 6, you could just R his E. You could kite out his E with your R, and then you could just kill him. It's as easy as that. So, alright, let's start it up. Oh, also, gankable lanes. Galio support against 2 melee champs bot, that's free kills. He could literally just E and W in. I mean E in and then W. That's free kill central. Like that's so easy. Your top lane is gankable too, but only if Camille's E is on cooldown, so it's pretty rough. I would have just sat bot this game, to be honest. But let's see what happens. Mid's not really that gankable unless she overextends, because Yasuo doesn't have much CC. Okay.
This is extreme. And I have any sense.
Okay.
I don't know if that's got to do with it.
Yeah, give me a second. I don't know if it's on my end. Is this better? But you can't see my mouse, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, that is definitely better. It's clear, and but there's just no mouse.
Okay.
I guess we can
Okay.
just be kind of descriptive on what you're talking about. You're pointing to where anything that's what.
Yeah. Pretty standard start here. What did everybody start? Okay. So what I like to do with Kha'Zix is I usually so this top tri-bush that Yasuo is about to walk into, I usually like to ward this around 50 seconds back and get scanning lens.
Okay.
Because scanning lens is just so good early game. You get a lot of gank stuff.
Makes a lot. Yeah, I just hold my ward because like, especially when you're like, trying to invade and like you want to get vision of a certain. Excuse me. That way you don't get collapsed on.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense. Did you say ward at 50?
Yeah, I'd ward at 50, I'd back and get scanning lens. Also, when you're doing this red buff, you want to auto attack it 3 times and move back, because the third auto, you could get an extra auto off, so you get you're more healthy in your jungle. So like it'll hit you 3 times and you back up, and then it'll like cancel the auto. So you trade auto for auto that third auto.
Okay.
So it makes your clear a little more healthy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with blue buff.
I tried doing that for like a little bit, but not here obviously, but like in general, like a couple weeks ago, whatever. But I just never really got the hang of it, so I just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Went back to normal.
Okay. So one thing you got to note here is their bot lane isn't in lane. Well, they're just walking in the lane now, and Camille was in lane, so you know Jack started red. It's just I do not. Well, that's fine actually. Oops. I usually don't smite the small one. I just save it for the big one, but I think that is a little more healthy.
Yeah, usually like standard to clear for a crow. I'm just being told whatever. You smite the smaller Krug and then auto it, and then red buff and talisman will burn it, and then you shouldn't big one.
I think yeah. If you see, I think you could definitely gank top here. That's what happens. Yeah. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, he's level 1. Ooh, that flash. Okay, so you shouldn't have gone unless this guy was level 2. That's because that's all his CC. He doesn't have anything until level 2. He doesn't have his root, and he has no gap closer. So unless Camille was legit like melee forming him, which she wasn't, yeah, that was. You should have just waited for his 2, because she had no vision here, and you knew that. Well, you could have known that because she never like walked down. If you were watching your map when you were doing Krugs, so I would have just waited for this guy's 2, and you probably could have leached some XP for level 3. So in the case that she did E away, you could just E after her. I would definitely tax some of this too. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would have gotten 3 off that guy. If that's what you're doing, yeah. Yep, that's good. Okay, it's fine. This should be a kill.
Get Camille.
Okay, that's good. And then I would just go to Crab, because Jax can't contest you at Crab. I'd push this in, go to Crab.
Played a lot of games.
Yeah. I would have just jumped on him right there and killed him. How much health does he have? Yeah, Q,
Oh wait,
W.
I'm pretty sure I kill him.
Oh yeah, he just dies. Okay. So that was pretty good. I don't know what he was doing right there.
I was pretty confused.
That was debatable what he just did there.
Like I could see what he was trying to.
Right here, I would have just ran straight down mid and gone to the other Crab. Because he's dead, Diana backed, and even if she didn't back, your mid has priority. So I would have just gone to Crab. How much CS does Jax have too? Okay, so he has 16. So you know he started red. He probably did these because he's good at his E is good at clearing the raptors. And then he didn't get any crabs. So 4, 8. And then he had blue buff. So that's 12. And then yeah, there's no way he did Gromp. That wouldn't make sense with how he pathed. So you know his bot side was clear besides Gromp. So I would have definitely just ran the Crab right here, and then I would have just gone up, or I would have done Crab, looked bot. Bot wasn't gankable, which Galio has flash, so it's gankable. Because he could just EW flash. So yeah, I would have definitely, after killing Jackson, got Crab. I would have just ran down mid, soaked some mid XP, and gotten Crab, and then done my bot side. Double Crab is so important. If you double Crab the enemy jungle, it cripples them for like the next 3 minutes.
Okay.
See what you buy here. How much gold do you have? Let's see. Okay, that's good. That's fine. Taking a bit too long in the base, but I would not have sold my refillable for machete too. Your refillable is so important in duels, in early duels. The Warhammer's already good enough for clear timing. Okay, so I would have just done blue. Because, see, there was no other camps he could have taken other than Crab. Because you knew he did red, and because of his CS, he did red, and then he did Raptors, and then he took Wolves. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's a fine invade. You push him out of his jungle and get his Raptors. Worked out. When does this Diana start getting fed? Like, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, you'll. The game honestly gets. Pretty sure I was tilted making this. That's why we're.
Yeah. Your buy is actually good now that I see that you're doing Dragon. You wouldn't have been able to do this with Refillable. But you did have bot prio, so you probably could have just had bot come up. Mid laner dies. It's interesting. So right now you're doing pretty much everything well. The only thing is that when you went to his top-sided jungle and you didn't double crab him, that's the main thing right now.
Yeah. I have a hard time like trying to maintain that
Yeah.
while I'm focusing on stuff, teammates and mains and.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks too. For Yasuo didn't flash or at all. It's interesting. Right here, after you do Gromp, I would have just went to his red. I don't know if that's what you do, or I would have ganked bot because yeah, they're fighting bot. One of the important things you have to do is always look at when your champion portraits are overlapping in your lanes, because that's when you know they're trading, or you just watch their health bars. Let's see what happens. Leona should be dead. He ignited the wrong person. He should have ignited Leona because she was closer to. Yeah, that's bad. You don't want to sit on tower against Leona and Mordekaiser.
Almost got murdered there.
Yeah. They are. Leona Mordekaiser is scary. Your mid dies again. Yeah, I would have definitely have gone to his red. I wouldn't have ganked bot, I would have just gone to his red, because that would have hit you 6. 6 is just so important on KhaZix. And I would have evolved Q for dueling. R is not bad, but Q is just all your dueling power. Okay, that's good. No, you do not chase that with Diana missing. Sivir. So right now, you're really strong. Oh. Yeah, that's unlucky for Yasuo, to say the least. I would have just gone, walked into the jungle, because Diana was missing, so she could have been anywhere, like, on the bot side of the map. And giving her that shutdown that's scary. So from here, I would honestly just play bot, because Jax isn't strong enough to fight you in his jungle bot side, and you have just so much CC and damage bot lane that you could just gank it over and over again, and it's Mordekaiser Leona with no flashes, so they'll just die to every single gank. I would just get by what's it called? The healing reduction, Executioner's Calling, and just gank it over and over again. It's pretty good. Who pinged? Maokai. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought you lost that for sure. Oh, she's 0-2. Let's see what happens here. Interesting. I would just start Rift here because you have Scuttle and Diana just died and Jax died. Well, he's gonna die, it looks like. Yeah, after Jax died there, your mid has Prio. They don't have vision on Rift. I would have just done Herald here. I would have ganked bot and just heralded bot. Because you're wasting a lot of time here. Like, you're not really doing anything, you know? You're just, like, walking around. And Jax isn't going to go top because you just walk through all his jungle. It's all clear. It'd make no sense for him to go top. So he's going to go bot side. We know that. Because that's the only camps he has up. So, yeah, I would have done Rift there. Told Maokai to move down and just do Rift with me. It's the next dragon. Air trick doesn't really matter. Yeah, at this point, your bot lane's really strong. She has the BF sword and pickaxe. That guy just died. Again, solo. Yeah, that's really hard to gank on a minion wave. I would have just held mid there. There's no way you kill her. She has Seekers. That's just too much armor early game for KhaZix to deal with. Especially when she's on a minion wave and unisolated. That's fine giving that to them. There's no way you could have contested that. I think your bot lane dies for trying. They lived. Yeah, that gank just... The result of you trying to kill that Diana there is they got Dragon because you're just so unhealthy to contest Dragon. You probably could have contested it if Diana didn't chunk you so hard. So that was a mistake there. You always got to be making sure to like check their items. Like Seeker's arm guard fully stacked. It's a lot of armor. And Diana's like really tanky too. She has her shield and she has like high base health for some reason. I don't know why, but right games. Gotta love the AP bruisers.
Oh, this is about the time where Diana and
Yeah. That shutdown she got on you was huge. That was probably the nail in the coffin. So right about now, again, Rift Herald is so good to get, especially when turret plates are still up. You gotta prioritize that. I know you don't have Evolved Claws, but it doesn't really matter on Rift because the eyeball mechanic thing. But
yeah,
Rift Herald is... It wins games. It snowballs games pretty hard.
I usually try to get Harrow before 14, but
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on this game. I could safely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you're behind, well, when your team's behind on KhaZix, I really don't try to go for any plays unless a team member's there with me. Because if you die on KhaZix, it sucks. Like, I already don't think KhaZix is that great right now in this meta, but like especially if you're just like giving free gold to the enemy team, it's rough. So I would just always wait for a team member Unless you know for a fact they're alone. And you could duel them. Like, if you had Evolved Claws there, you probably would have killed her. But, I mean, you don't. So, going for any 1v1 is pretty risky because you can't kill them as fast. Yeah. Galio focused the wrong person there. She had stopwatch or Zonia's. And 2v2s like that, you always want to focus the person that's less tanky. This guy has Zonia's, and he's Diana, and he's... What level is he? 12. So he's, like, tanky as fuck. Jax is... He just has Blood Razor. So... You just had to focus Jax there. And your mid laner is just so useless.
So far, the main points we have here to prevent Diana Snowball would get Herald and go bot lane.
Yeah, so if you put that much pressure bot lane, someone on the... Because their bot lane can't defend, they're both melee champs. If they try to walk up, they're going to get dove by Galio with Aftershock. So the main thing, I think, to take away from this was getting Rift is really important early game, especially because they have 4 melee champs. They have 5, actually, sorry. They have 5 melee champs, so they're not really good at sieging or defending. They don't have any wave clear either. So they'd have to, like, 5-man or 4-man to kill Rift. And even if they do that, Galio has an AoE taunt, and they're all melee, so they're all going to get taunted if they try. So I would have just played around bot more and gotten Rift pretty early. Your dragon was good, but Rift is important as well, at least in this situation. And Leona and Mordekaiser are really weak early game too. So I would have just hovered bot and just snowballed bot lane. Gotten Rift. That's the main thing, because you couldn't gank for Yasuo. He's just too behind. And if Jax is there, you guys lose the 2v2 hard. Especially after his jungle item. Your pathing wasn't bad early game either. It was just that one instance where you went into their top side and there's nothing there. Yeah, that double crab would have demolished Jax. Also, you did Krug clear, so you always want to clear Krugs on respawn too. You got to make sure you do that if you're going to do Krug clear. Because they just give so much XP. Okay, this looks good right here. Diana just threw.
Oh yeah, now I remember this game. So coming back slowly. She was typing it in all chat. Gotta give to the poor.
I mean, if she gave it to Yasuo, that makes sense. But
It was so BM in all chat.
yeah, I want to see what you evolve second this game.
I couldn't tell you if I tried. I'm gonna be honest here.
I would have definitely evolved W second this game. What's happening here?
I have no I have no idea.
Also, don't be afraid to tax your laners early game. I know people get pissed and they'll spam ping you for it, but that's what jungle has just come to. Like, you need to... Okay, you did evolve Spike second. That's good. Like, take XP from your mid laner in your early clear or your top laner, like you did top lane. Like, it's more important on you so you can contest crabs. People will get pissed and spam ping you, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Leona should be dead here. Ooh, I don't. Do you have ult? Yeah, I would have just fought that. Let's rewind a bit. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay. So Leona should just be dead here. She doesn't get her aftershock off. Okay, that's the healing. So, like I said, the healing reduction, there's certain champions you always have to build it against. Mordekaiser's one of them, Silas is another one, Kayn. But Mordekaiser, you need the healing reduction item. Nobody has healing reduction. If you had healing reduction right there, Leona's dead, she doesn't get anything off, you win the fight. Let's see. Okay. I don't think you should have jumped out. You had Maokai here. He would have just gone on Leona. You could have R'd in and killed Leona. Yeah, she was dead. And then you could have just R'd out again. And Diana wasn't even there. Yeah, that was definitely a fight you could have won. If you had Executioner's Calling. And, well, you would have killed Leona, but without it. But you misplayed that. All you needed to do was auto her and R her, and she was dead. I also would have gone Black Cleaver too. When you evolve R, you need to go for like a more bruiser build.
Yeah, I just think I was really focused on trying not to get one shot by Diana.
Yeah.
Like I even, oh my god, I even built like, a single magic mantle after Hex Drinker, just so I can have that extra bit of MR.
Oh my god. They're actually doing this. Wow. I'm surprised they won that. Wow, they just threw again. I would just be spam pinging Baron right now. I would just spam ping Baron. Or I'd just get vision around it. Yeah, just get vision around it and kill whoever walks in because you have evolved spikes. Yasuo should have just ran up instantly. Yeah. I would have spam pinged Baron there. Check his red. Always when you have map tempo like that and their jungler's dead, always check the buffs first.
Okay.
Because obviously the buffs are more important and they give more XP and more gold. That would have been a free red buff. Yeah, you just need to back here.
How much gold am I hoarding? Press X.
Yeah.
770. Right.
Yeah, I would have just backed and got a pink ward. This looks like a winning fight. Ooh, you went on. You should have just gone for Diana. Yeah, let me rewind this. Okay. Let's go rewind one more time. Let's put the focus on you. So this is ideal. Galio is in the middle of 3, almost gonna be 4 melee champs. Well, 5 actually. This guy jumping in. So this is pretty ideal. I would have R'd immediately right there. I would not have jumped out. I would have just R'd and ran past and looked for Mord. Because he's not gonna come from lane over here by these minions. He's not gonna come from over here. He's gonna come from. He's gonna be behind Leona. So yeah, this is very ideal. And Sivir gets her Q off on like 4 champions. So you are Ring out when you should be Ring in, or just autoing Diana, honestly. She would have died. You kill Diana. You kill Diana, you W backwards, you turn with Maokai, you just wipe him. Because that guy's chasing Sivir. This guy's chasing Galio. Yeah. You just killed Diana there, that would have been huge. Yeah. It's rough.
I die here being stupid.
Yeah, now you jumping over that wall just killed you.
Yep.
Ooh, and you waste flash. That's no good.
Yeah, like I said.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough out here.
It feels bad to be bad. Zazul's quote of the month.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
21 vision score. Yeah, you still have yellow trinket too. At this point of the game where the team that gets Baron, this is pretty much the team that gets Baron wins the game at this point. So you need red trinket. You need to control vision. Duskblade isn't enough because I mean they could just wait out the proc if they're smart. I think Galio should have fought that. Probably could have killed one or two of them. That guy should be dead. Sivir's just playing so scared. Diana has no mana.
Sivir has no mana.
Yeah, true, but Diana needs it more than Sivir.
Very true.
So let me rewind this again. You always, when you don't have Evolved E, you always gotta be careful when you jump in, because if you jump in, that's exactly what's gonna happen to you. You're just gonna get one shot. You need to be more conservative with your leaps, because that has killed you like 3 times now, I've noticed. It's a huge cooldown. At this point, I think it's pretty over. There's nothing you guys can do. Nobody has healing reduction yet either. Jax has Conquer, Camille has Conquer, Mordekaiser heals a lot. So your build, after Warrior, I would have just gone Black Cleaver into, or after Warrior, I would have gotten the healing reduction, and I would have gotten Black Cleaver, and then I would have built Maw. Because Duskblade, when your team's behind and you have Duskblade, and you don't have Evolved Claws, it's just like impossible to like actually fight somebody and kill them, like assassinate them. And that's what Duskblade's for, right? Is to assassinate people.
Right.
It's really hard when your team's just losing. You got to go for a more bruiser build when you're losing, and you need to play more utility. Well, which you did. You evolved R and W. Diana just entered again.
So
that's interesting.
in any losing scenario, I should just go bruiser build rather than like building with Audi and whatnot.
Unless you're disgustingly ahead. But if you're disgustingly ahead, you shouldn't be building like this. Okay, let me pause this. If you're disgustingly ahead, you shouldn't be building defensive items.
Right, right.
So either you had two choices this game. You either you go to utility build, you build Black Cleaver, you build Executioner's Calling, and you're just a Grievous Wound Slave with evolved spikes, or you just go full lethality and you just try to one-shot somebody. But look at their team. It's hard to one-shot any of them. It's Leona with heal. It's Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's probably the easiest one to assassinate, but even then he has his W that heals him for a shit ton. And he has E, which shields him. Diana, she first bought Zonia's. There's no way you're one-shotting her. Jax probably could one-shot him, but it's risky because he has his R, and he could turn it on you if he's strong enough. And Camille, there's no way you're one-shotting her with her passive shield. She'll react to your damage before you even kill her with her E. So in this scenario, yeah, I would have either with how the lanes played, I would have just gone Bruiser and just tried to play utility because there's no way you're assassinating anybody on this team with how it played out. Like Mordekaiser's strong, Diana, you're mid-inted.
Yeah, so I shouldn't build Dustblade then, because like obviously
No.
they're all like bruiser tank.
Yeah,
No.
you should have just gone like a Bruiser build
Okay.
because, like I said, it's just too hard to one-shot any of them.
Right. Yeah,
And
usually I would go like Warrior, Red Smite Warrior. Go into Black Cleaver, get my tier 2 boots, and then go into Dust Dance on the Maul or whatever like situational items after that. GA.
yeah, so ideal build here would have just been what I would have built was Merc Treads is fine. Warrior, obviously. So after Warrior, Black Cleaver. I would have gotten the healing reduction though before that. So after Warrior, I would have gotten the healing reduction. Black Cleaver, Maw, and I probably would have went like GA into maybe if like we were winning at that point, I would have gone a lethality item. Like I would go like 6th item Duskblade, but you just built it too early in my opinion because it doesn't really give you anything other than damage. And when everyone on their team's strong, you're just gonna get one shot.
Right. Okay.
So let's see what happens here. I want to see this team fight. Okay, so Diana just dies. Yasuo shouldn't have ulted. It's a waste of an ult.
The Diana's just keep giving more to the poor.
Yeah. And like here, like this is so good right here.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna like win.
Yeah, you didn't have R, so you just die there when you jump in. 700 gold bounty on Sivir. Yeah, they're literally just like throwing away their lead. If anybody built healing reduction on your team, it would have been over. That fight would have been a wrap. And that fight bot lane earlier. Like Sivir should have it. Or you. Even Yasuo. Again, he's inting. She just got another shutdown. And you guys scale because you have Infernal. I think what this game came down to was mainly the Rift Herald and the build. Because your pathing was fine. There's nothing really like wrong about it other than that first gank top lane when I told you to just double crab him. That was the only mistake in the pathing. Diana just is inting again. What's next, Dragon? Yeah, at this point, I would just start setting up vision for Dragon. Mountain Drake is so good when you're losing. I mean, it's so good in general, but when you're losing, it's really good. Yeah, you had no vision in River.
If we lose after this one.
This actually isn't bad. Until they all use their summon their shit on you. Oh yeah, Maokai wasn't there. Yeah, that was bad. You had no vision in the river. So going for that crab is risky. I would have just pinged my team to come down the mountain. And I'm guessing that's game. Yeah. Okay. So let's go over a few things.
Oh, at the very start of the game, you said to word at 50 seconds
50.
and then go back and get sweeper.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
every game that you do that?
Yeah, pretty much every game I do that. Because it gives you so much pressure. They have to respect you so much more because they don't have vision. So like I said, this first gank, how close is this guy to level? He's so close to level 2. You see the purple bar underneath his
Yeah.
mana?
Mm.
That's experience. So he is so close to level 2. You just needed to be patient here. Okay. You needed to auto her first there too for the slow. And you flashed in place. That's no good. Yeah. Just wait for level 2 there. Would have killed her. I mean, you end up killing her anyway, but for future reference. He jumped in place. So you get a kill here. That's so ideal on KhaZix. And then this guy ints you in a second. Okay. Especially with water walking, you want to go for every crab because it's a distinct advantage. Like that's so much. The move speed and the AD it gives you is insane. So yeah, if you tabbed at that point, saw he has 16 CS, you know he did red because his top laner was in lane and his bot lane came late to lane. He's gonna do Raptors because he's Jax. His E is so good against them. He had blue buff, so that's 12. Top crab is up, so he didn't do top crab, and he was top side first, which means he didn't do bot crab. And his wolves. So if he has 16 CS, you know he did red, Raptors, wolves, blue. That's another thing you just got to be mindful of is always hitting tab and checking their CS, especially early game. So after this, immediately run down, run through mid lane. She's backing too. I would have just helped Yasuo push the lane. And he had Tornado up. Help Yasuo push the lane. Soak this XP. Crab. Blue, Gromp, Wolves. And backed. Got your items. Cleared your Krugs again. Cleared your Raptors. And boom, you're like almost level 6 off that. You would have hit 4 off of the minion wave mid. You would have hit 5 probably after your blue. After your wolves, and then Krugs would have given you like a shit ton of XP, and then Raptors probably would have given you like really close to 6, if not 6. So that is pretty major too. Oh yeah, you definitely would have been pretty close to 6 at that point. Yeah, because, see, that would have prevented the gank bot lane too, if you got Crab. Because he gets Crab and then he ganks bot. If they had vision of him, they wouldn't have had to waste. He wouldn't have almost died, and he would have been able to stay in lane. Yeah, that's just the major thing on your pathing right there. So that early game pathing was pretty bad. Like not like game ruining, but definitely could have been better. Because KhaZix is one of those champions where, like, yeah, you push him out of your jungle here, but what does that do? You don't get XP, you don't get gold from it, really. Like, you steal his Raptors, but, I mean, jungle XP is nerfed this season. It's really bad. So, as KhaZix, you just want to get 6 as soon as possible, because then you could duel people, you could take objectives, you could do pretty much whatever you want at that point. You could invade, you could take objectives, you could look for duels, and your R is just so good for ganking too. Like, so yeah, you push him onto his jungle, but you don't really get much out of it. You get his Raptors. As opposed to if you did that, the double crab blue, Gromp, Wolves, back, did your Krugs, went the Raptors, you would have had enough gold to have the 2 parts of your jungle item and your Warhammer most likely, and you could have just ended up doing a dragon anyway. And he can't contest because he's 2 levels behind. And your bot lane's always going to have priority. It's Sivir against Mordekaiser Leona. So dragon should be free. So yeah, it was just mainly your build and just your build and that early game pathing and the Rift Herald. You needed to get Rift Herald early and just pressure a lane. But that's pretty much it. You have any like questions specifically you want to ask?
Like a little bit more clarification on when is it better to build Bruiser if you get an even match? Like if it
Okay, yeah.
is
So
that was
let's
that more
say-
efficient?
Yeah, it is. So let's say you're against Lee Sin, right? You're Lee Sin versus KhaZix. You're same gold, same level. If you build lethality, Lee Sin's gonna just beat you every duel because he's just gonna beat you because he's Lee Sin. And other champions like that are like Elise, Shaco, J4, Rek'Sai. You just want to build Bruiser against those champions if you're even with them or if you're behind. Because if you're behind, obviously, they're just going to kill you 1v1. If you're even with them, they still win 1v1. So the only time, let's put it this way, the only time you build like full damage lethality, like you go Duskblade after your jungle item, is 1, if you're like disgustingly ahead, or if it's an easy matchup. An easy matchup would be like, yeah, Evelyn, or like a Mumu, or like, yeah, Talia, where you could just like evolve Q and you could just run on them and they're dead. You could just Q them twice and they're dead. The thing about like Elise, obviously, she turns into a spider and she unisolates herself. Shaco presses R, he unisolates himself. Lee Sin, if he hits you with Q, you're dead. No matter what items you have. If you don't have Black Cleaver and you don't have Ninja Tabs, he's gonna one-shot you. It doesn't matter. If he has jungle item and you have jungle item, unless you dodged a Q, which he's probably not gonna open with, he's probably gonna kick you first and then Q you, so it's easier to land it. He's gonna win that duel. Rengar is another one too. Rengar, I always go a very specific build for. I go warrior. I go red smite. I always build blue smite, except against Rengar. I always build red smite against Rengar. I go warrior. After that, I immediately go the healing reduction because I don't like having to kill a champion twice to kill him. So
Yeah.
yeah, I always evolve Q against him first too, because it's the only way you could win a duel against him. So
So you go warrior and then
executioner's calling, and then I get tabs, and then I build Black Cleaver because you never know with that champion. You never know when he's just gonna suddenly pop off and like kill your whole team, and then he's ahead, and then he has um Dustblade, and he just one shots you.
See,
So
I understand that being alive is better than getting kills.
mhm,
Not dying is great. Okay?
yeah,
But I just have like this fear that I'm actually wasting time and wasting buying items that could have put me like of the game.
it's better to buy safer items. I mean, Black Cleaver is not even like a bad item on it's a really good item on Kha'Zix. It gives you 20% CDR, it gives you health, it gives you AD, and it gives you armor shred. It's honestly I go Black Cleaver 80% of the time after Duskblade. Like in the matchups where I do go Duskblade, I do not build Yumu's. I just go Black Cleaver because it instantly gives me 40% and it gives me that tankiness, which is super nice. So it stops you from getting one shot, and it gives you a nice chunk of damage because it gives you 20% CDR. You know, you cast your spells more, and the armor shred's pretty good, especially against like tanks. And I
See,
mean,
I used to build Black Cleaver after Dustblade like several months ago happened. I think it was like during the time of I think it was like when before I had made a video of like the Revolve Bruiser build,
mm-hmm.
like, and everyone like was started calling it like the Mentor build, but we all know it's just basic
Yeah,
Bruiser KhaZix, right? But
yeah,
I think I stopped doing it back when like that kind of faded away, because I was like I built it no games because I wasn't building damage. I guess when I building damage, so I said
mm-hmm.
that I can go Dustblade and then Black Cleaver every single time, no matter. Kind of balances out instead of like
Yeah,
committing to full Bruiser or. Uh,
mm-hmm.
usually what I would do as well is I would go like Dustblade into Black Cleaver into Edge of Night because then you have a lot of HP. You have 2 lethality items plus the CDR from Black Cleaver and the tankiness.
Yeah.
So that's
So that build is actually going to be viable when next patch drops.
yeah.
I was actually doing some like number crunching, and Transcendence with the buff it's getting, the double lethality item, Black Cleaver is going to be really strong. I think that's a nice buff, indirect buff to Kha'Zix, because he's going to get so much AD from the extra CDR that it's just going to be insane. Because right now I run Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm in most of my games. Well, now I started running it because I just felt like I did no damage in my games. But Absolute Focus, honestly, is pretty garbage, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
see, I stopped taking Gathering Storm because I'm already getting like what plus 14 AD or something at 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Most games
but
don't
like,
even last 30 minutes.
yeah. But the thing is, like, what's the alternative? They nerfed Coup de Grace, and they nerfed, um, well, yeah, they nerfed Coup de Grace, and they're gonna nerf Magical Footwear next patch. So like, the thing is, you just got to get used to. I'm just gonna try to get used to the sorcery tree. Like Coup de Grace is not that good anymore. Like the main reason you took it was when you did have those 1v9 games where you could just get resets and just jump over and over again,
Right.
which is another thing I want to touch on. I evolved W second after claws in most of my games
So do
because
I.
yeah, it's just way safer. It's way more utility. I mean, it's a Nasus Wither on 3 people if they're
Yeah.
isolated, and it's just so good. Like Wings is good. I'd probably evolve it third most of the time, but second, it's just Kha'Zix doesn't do enough damage right now. Like ever since they nerfed Absolute Focus, it's not the same. So I think the Bruiser build overall is better too. Like I would only go Duskblade Yumus if I'm like legit like 9-0 by like 13 minutes, and that like never happens. So because Kha'Zix's early game is just so bad.
Right.
So
Is there another I guess you could say meta assassin that's really good right now? That can definitely outclass Kha'Zix in like Elise or something. Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai, yeah, Rek'Sai honestly is like a better Kha'Zix in every way, pretty much. I mean, her duels are strong. Her mobility is insane. She takes Conquer, the most broken keystone in the game. It's just, it's like, why play Kha'Zix when you can play Rek'Sai?
I feel that way every single game that I get a Hecarim or a Rek'Sai in my game, even Jarvan.
Yeah,
And I've never played Rek'Sai. Jarvan, I've played Hecarim like twice and I ended. So, um, we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah,
Hecarim,
like,
Hecarim's kind of bad against Kha'Zix though, because you evolve W and he's kind of useless.
well, yes, but no, I
The thing
hate
is,
evolving W first because I feel like when I can use it the
oh yeah,
most.
yeah, don't evolve it first,
Yeah,
but
but
second,
the problem is getting to level 11 with Hecarim on the
yeah, that's
opposite
true.
team.
That's true. He does just trample your team. It gets rough. You gotta really like be on point when you're tracking him.
I mean I
Just
ban him every game.
yeah. You were saying something. Sorry.
I was, but I got sidetracked with you and I lost what I was saying. Oh wait, I was talking about feeding on Hecarim. um, um, no, but like I've been trying to like think of a different jungler that I could place that's similar place out. Like I have so many points on Kha'Zix, and I feel like I just naturally play in the way of Kha'Zix now. And that goes for like every other champion. So if Rek'Sai is like a better Kha'Zix,
Yeah.
pick her up.
Rek'Sai is definitely a better Kha'Zix. Like has more CC. Her duels are better pre-6. I mean, honestly, at 6 she could duel Rek'Sai too. I mean, not Rek'Sai, Kha'Zix because Conqueror.
Right, and the ulti.
She just her ulti is just so much damage.
Targetable and
She gets on the map way faster because you could tunnel from base pretty much. You know, if you set your tunnels up every time you back. So it's just so much better. And she does scuttle crabs way faster. She knocks them up, boom. All their resistances are gone. Yeah. I think Kha'Zix's main issues are he's too weak early and his clears are just too slow. I could talk about like what they could do to Kha'Zix, but I mean that's for another time.
right.
he's he, he's not bad, but there's definitely better junglers.
Yeah, people always tell me like they always complain to me about how like Kha'Zix is so OP and how dare I have like 3 million points on him. Like
Don't play jungle, and I guarantee you they don't play Kha'Zix.
he's so OP. I'm like, no, he's not. He's like the worst jungler that I know right now.
He is so bad. Like he gets outclassed by any jungler early game. Xin beats him, Rek'Sai beats him, J4 beats him, Lee Sin beats him, Elise beats him. It's so bad. He's in a
Constantly
rough spot.
and always an uphill battle.
Yeah. Even Kindred.
Oh
can
my
beat-
god. There was a point
Like
where I started banning Kindred because I was terrified.
yeah. Whenever I face like Forest, it's a rough game. But he always like bans Kha'Zix. So the only time you beat Kindred is when you hit 6 and you pray to God she didn't get like a head off your laners. I mean, your alt counters her alt pretty hard, but other than that, like she just kites you and there's nothing you can do.
All right.
Even Graves beats Kha'Zix.
Yeah, true. So for like the next point, taking a note that you said I should start alting in to team fights rather than alt.
Yeah, especially with evolved R, that's 2 seconds of invisibility. Like you could just run around for 2 seconds and the enemy team has no idea where you are. You make them panic. They don't know where you are. And like, where was that team fight? No, this one isn't it. Where did that team fight over here happen at? I think it's here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, this team fight, let's take another look at it. So here, they have no vision of this side. You have a pink here, you just scan this bush. They have no vision. They have no vision over here either. You have a pink here, there's no ward here. So all they see here, they don't know where Sivir is. And I think Jack sees you, okay. So you jumped out here, that's bad. As soon as this fight started, you should have just R'd. As soon as like Jax jumped on you, just R, because his E has a minimal cast time, right? You can't just insta-cast it and stun. So here, you waste one charge of your ult, and you E out. That's bad. So yeah, they're all fighting. The person you need to be watching here is Diana. She's the most fed person on the team. Let's look at Diana. Look at her HP. You just need to R again. See, you started walking away. That's not good. You needed to just R and then just walk towards river, because that's the only place she can go, right? She's not going to walk into Sivir. She's just going to die. Camille's rooted, so she can't do anything. So the only place she can go is down this river. You started ulting backwards, like away from the fight. And you get pretty far from the fight. You get by this stupid rock right here. That's a lot of time wasted, where you could have just been kiting down towards river. You could have just auto Diana, killed her. It would have isolated Mordekaiser. He's dead. Oh, he flashed in actually. But you would have gotten an isolated Q on him. His 1400 is 39% reduced. Which is your Q doing? So you would have hit him for like 500, 400 damage right there. And Diana would have been dead. So you would have just turned with Maokai, and I think you could have just wiped the fight. Because this guy chases Sivir too. And so does Leona. He's isolated right here. Yep, he's definitely isolated. So if you killed Diana and turned with Maokai, he was dead 100%. Because he's still trying to chase Galio, and Galio has his E up and his W up soon too. He would have just CC blocked him. So yeah, that you could have played that team fight so much better. And honestly, if you wiped them there, you could have gotten vision on Baron. You could have baited them into walking into Baron. You have evolved spikes. If somebody face checks, they're dead, and you get Baron. And here you jump over the wall and you just suicide. Now Jax is spawning in 8 seconds. You're spawning in 38. They just have complete Baron control now. Where was the other fight? Where you ulted out? Is it here?
Bot lane, right?
Yeah. No, it wasn't here. It wasn't here. I think it was.
It was more toward the.
Yeah. It's right over here. Somewhere over here.
It was before they got in hip.
Yeah, it was right here. Okay. So this fight.
Every time that you hit backspace or go back to 15
okay,
seconds,
so-
it always like goes black screen.
Is it good? Can you see?
Yeah, that's good now.
Okay, so let's look at this fight. So you have, yeah, you have evolve spikes. Okay. Right here. This is another thing too. If you had Black Cleaver, this guy's dead. He's just dead. You have Yasuo Sivir and you hitting him. And the 500 damage heal. Actually, it was close to 600 because he got a relic proc off. 50%, he would have just healed like 250, 260, something like that. So here, okay, your R's not ready yet. Now it is. See, you jumped out again. That's not good. And you're pretty far from the fight, and they're still fighting. So let me rewind just a tad. So if you saved your jump here, instead of jumping out, I would have just R'd. You have 2 seconds of invisibility. I would have R'd, reassessed what happens in those next 2 seconds. Look at Leona. She's like dead. You could have just killed Leona there. Yeah, she would have definitely died. I mean, you probably would have died too, but you wouldn't have lost this fight as hard. You probably would have traded 2 or 3 kills. Yeah, you just... When you evolve R, you have to be willing to like just get in there. Because that's what your R evolve is for. It's to like get a better position, get a flank, and just assassinate somebody out of position or that's low. Leona was definitely pretty killable right there. If you had, let's see. Yeah, so you're just being too conservative and passive with. And there's like no reason to jump out either. They didn't like hit you with anything. They didn't like go on you. They just instantly all jumped on Yasuo and this poor soul Galio over here. Yeah, especially with Maokai here. Like, he disrupts this whole fight with 1Q. Look at that. They're all CC'd. You have W up. You could have hit them all with your W right here, slowed them. Sivir could have kited out better. And Diana wasn't even here. That was a fight you had to commit to, 100%. Because Diana wasn't there. She was doing something mid lane. I don't know. Pushing the wave. And then they get a good rift off, and it's just an uphill battle from here. So yeah, those are the 2 examples that I saw.
I guess it's safe to say that just this is to touch up on it again. That Black Cleaver is a staple item.
Yeah, Black Cleaver and healing reduction. If honestly, like healing reduction, what champions don't heal in this meta, right? Conquer is just too strong, and like every meta champion heals. Rek'Sai, Hecarim. I mean, like
Yeah, that's
they all heal. So Executioner's Calling needs to be built early. It's just so good. Like for 800 gold, you get 15 AD and you get 50% healing reduction on people. And with evolved spikes, you proc it on 3 people.
that's true.
It's just
Especially because
insane.
like it's when the champs have healing in their channel, that healing is supposed to be that way they can win the fight. So if they don't have the healing, then they lose the fight.
Yeah, exactly. I guarantee you, if somebody built healing reduction on your team, either Sivir, Yasuo, or you, this game would have gone completely different. There's so many instances where they won the fight just because they healed so much. If Leona died here, look what happens. If Leona dies here. Okay, she has heal, flash, her ult, her key. She has everything ready. If she dies here, they lose the fight. But she stuns Yasuo in the middle of the team fight. She stuns Yasuo again in the middle of the team fight and stuns Galio. She heals somebody for 164 health. That's Camille. And she helps kill Maokai. She stuns Maokai. If Leona died there, they lose their tankiest member. They lose the majority of their CC because Diana wasn't there. And Mordekaiser has no CC. Jax just has a stun. They would have lost that fight 100% if Leona died before she got any of that stuff off. So Black Cleaver and the healing reduction would have won you that fight. Like convincingly too. Like it wouldn't even have been close. If Yasuo didn't get stunned in the middle of 3 champions, like he still had his ult. So if he got his ult off, that fight was a wrap. Like, especially when you consider this that happened. Watch Maokai. Look at this. 4-man knockup. Boom, the fight's over. Sivir's free hitting. While their Yasuo ulted. And then you're just running around proccing slows and healing reduction and armor shred on them. So yeah, that's the main thing about that fight. Again, it just came down to nobody building healing reduction, so it came down to your build, and it came down to that early game pathing mistake that you made. That's all it came down to, and the Rift Herald. See, if you got Rift, you wouldn't have lost this tower, and you would have gotten this tower, and most likely this tower. And you would have pressured bot lane so that either Jax or Diana or both had to rotate bot lane to help them. You wouldn't have lost this inhib. You should have kept chasing too. They could have killed this thing. You could have maybe gotten a shutdown on Camille if you kept chasing. And on Diana. Let's see. See, like right here, there's no point in you running back. Like, I know what you were probably thinking. You're like, oh, we're probably not going to get anything more out of this, so just kill the Rift Herald so it doesn't get our inhib. But, I mean, Yasuo, even when he's behind, he's still pretty strong. I mean, he's got Static Shiv. That's a pretty big power spike. So I would have definitely kept chasing this too. Fuck the Rift Herald. You got Maokai and Sivir there for that. See, look how broken Conquer is. Like, he just lived because Conquer is so busted. So you need healing reduction whenever somebody has Conquer. Camille and these two had it. Jackson, Camille. And here I would have spammed Ping Baron too. Also another thing. Maybe not take it, but we could have baited. You could have baited it for sure. I don't know what this guy's doing, just standing here. He should be getting wards down your Baron. And you have Trinket too, so Yeah, you don't get this tower. Oh wait, double demolish maybe. No, never mind. So yeah, and then you didn't check the buff there. That's another small thing. Always want to make sure you check the buffs.
Wait, demolish can proc twice now?
Yeah, if 2 champions have it, stacks.
Has it always done that?
I think so. It's just so rare that I see somebody get doubles. 2 people take demolish in the same game, and then same instance, 2 people proc it on the same tower. Let me go back to, by the way. It's Jax. You probably could have killed him here with Galio too. If you checked the buff and Galio came with you. Let's see. He's not tanky. Yeah, if you ping Galio down with you, because they didn't know you were there either. They have no vision here. It's completely blind. He's walking into his jungle blind to his red buff. Yeah, he would have been dead 100%. Could have killed him there too. So yeah, that's another small mistake. So is there anything else you want to touch on specifically?
Nothing
Or
really
ask?
much to this game. I'm trying to like, because I really can't think of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard to like go back on things. Huh? What's up?
Yeah, live games are usually a lot better because I could, sit there and watch you directly, like, and like know what's going through your head when you do something and why you do it. It's harder with a VOD because I don't know what you're thinking because like you said, you played a lot of games. You didn't even, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
You
Like
don't remember it.
I do remember the game. Like now, like, at the very start of this session, I couldn't tell you about this game.
Yeah, yeah. Like I didn't know what you were thinking. Like when you ganked top. Well, this guy was level 1. I assume you thought he was level 2 or gonna hit level 2, but without that knowledge, like,
Right.
yeah. So live games are usually better, but I mean, this game was a pretty good example though. Like your team fighting and your pathing and your build, I think this was pretty good. Because you played the team fights not so well.
So when I first started like improving on my path and just like how to be more efficient before the jungle got nerfed, right? But like now that those changes went through and all that stuff, and you have to be aggressive in order to catch up and like actually be ahead and like actually take the enemy camps, or else you're gonna be like either behind if you're not ganking, or if you're just doing the same thing as the opposite jungler, you're just gonna fall behind from the laners. So
yeah.
I've been like trying to find out what more fits like a more comfortable way for me to be able to invade and like take camps and like try to work on looking at the CS and like thinking about which camps are gone because of the certain number of the CS, which I'm horrible at while playing the game. Like when I'm outside the game, I can think about it. Right now, that was looking at tab, and I can think about like what camps gave what out of CS, and then but in game I'm just like all over the place. So I got to figure out how to better that.
That's more of like a live game thing because I could sit down and like tell you, oh, he's here, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Because certain champions, not all champions have the same clear, right? Like Jax did his Raptors. That's usually what Jax does because his E is so good. Lee Sin won't do Raptors. They just do too much damage and it takes too long. Same thing with Rek'Sai. Like it's a bunch of stuff that you just need to like know about the matchup and that you just got to play through and you got to get the experience of it. Like, yeah, Lee Sin's the perfect example. He does red, but he doesn't do raptors. He does red, he probably does golems, and then he goes to one of the crabs. Or he does red, he does golems, and then he ganks mid. He gets level 3 off leeching XP from his mid laner, and he ganks mid. And then he goes to one of the crabs, and he contests you at it because he's level 3 and you're not. Because you didn't leech XP. It's another thing. You always need to leech XP for level 3 to contest any crabs. If you're not level 3, you're probably going to die. Like, even if you have to physically walk into your mid laner's lane and push the wave for him, if that's what it means to, like, get priority, you have to do it. Because if you lose crab or if you die at crab, the game becomes so much harder. If you die trying to take a crab, he kills you, he gets the crab, and he gets the other crab, game's over in jungle. There's nothing you can do. Unless he throws. But, I mean, you can't always count on that. So, like I said, like, you just need to, before you go for any crab, you need to make sure you have priority at least in one of your lanes. Mid is the most important though, because mid gets there the fastest. And they usually have CC at level 2. So
With the upcoming battle change, heard about that?
I actually haven't seen any or read anything about that.
So they're looking to change this timer. So so they're power farm,
Yeah.
not like a level 2 or like a coin
think-
flip it. Others can miss.
Yeah, I think what's gonna happen with that then is like the enemy you're gonna do a buff, the enemy jungler is gonna do a buff, you're gonna do a camp, you're gonna do a camp, he's gonna do a camp. You're both gonna run mid, you're both gonna get level 3 and try to gank. That's I think what it's gonna come down to. And then Scuttle will come later. We'll see how that works. But I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna happen. See, none of that really benefits KhaZix though, I feel like, because he's just I don't know, like he's just too weak early game. It doesn't really matter if they change Scuttle timer or not.
And I feel like it does matter if you start blue buff, because if you start red buff, it doesn't matter because you just hit 3 in your own jungle anyway.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is though that like there will be a fight for Scuttle anyway. Like come on, like there's gonna be a fight for Scuttle. And the way with Kha'Zix is, he's just too weak early game against all the meta junglers. Hecarim beats him 1-on-1, Rek'Sai beats him 1-on-1, Kindred beats him 1-on-1, Graves beats him 1-on-1, Lee Sin beats him 1-on-1, Elise, like it's just it's rough. But I think it's a better change overall. But for Kha'Zix, I don't think it really affects him. But like I said, the Transcendence buff is I think will be pretty nice because then you could go double lethality Black Cleaver build, which is a lot of damage.
What's the trend?
They're just giving it more AD the more overcapped on CDR you are. So
like,
instead of absolute focus, you'd go Transcendence.
So like quad Black Cleaver build? No.
Probably not for Kha'Zix, but
I mean
with Transcendence, Black Cleaver, Yumu's, and Duskblade, you overcap by 20%, and Warrior, you overcap by 20%. So I think the conversion was like 1.8 for every 1% you're over. So that's 36 AD when you have those 4 items. And you get, what's it called? You get 10% extra CDR at level 10, which is pretty nice.
So overall, you're like 30% CDR plus.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'd just go Gathering Storm on top of it. Maybe Water Walking if my mid laner is like LeBlanc or Ryze or like not Ryze, LeBlanc, Aurelion Soul, Talon. So just get that extra strength in the river if a fight does happen. I usually go Gathering Storm when my mid laner will never have priority. What that basically means is if your team locks in Kassadin or Katarina, you're never going to have priority. So just go Gathering Storm and scale.
Might have to try out Gathering Storm again.
It's pretty good, I feel like, because I mean, in so many instances where I've had Inspiration Secondary, I was like, man, I wish I did a little more damage and I would have killed that guy.
Right.
And Gathering Storm gives you that, and so does Absolute Focus for the time being. Absolute Focus is pretty bad, but I mean, it helps in that regard. So, I mean, Sorcery is gonna be a must second on KhaZix because they're nerfing Magical Footwear and they already nerfed Coup de Grace, so it's gonna have to be Sorcery secondary from now on.
What's the nerf for in the footwear?
They're gonna give you free boots at 12 minutes instead of 10.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I want to give boots at like 8 minutes, like you could before you get like kills.
Yeah, I think they're for takedowns though they're making it so it's 45 seconds instead of 30 though, so it's like
Oh.
a
The
but
balance.
yeah, but the thing with Kha'Zix is y- ganks are hard to come by unless somebody ins, so it's not really ideal on Kha'Zix. He's getting ganks early game is hard. At least in the higher tiers. It's rough. So and then Transcendence is just gonna be so good. Like 36 free AD with double lethality items. It's just insane.
Was there anything else that like after and in team fight?
hmm Again, I would have just camped bot lane. Like you have Galio and Sivir. Like and Sivir has pressed the attack. So like she just does so much damage. Galio can keep them CC locked. And they're two melee champs. So all he has to do is E and W, and he's instantly in range of one of them at least, and then you can just kill that person. Yeah, and they have no escapes. They don't have dashes or anything. They're free kills. You always want to camp the lane that has the most CC, even if that lane won't even carry. Like, say you have like it's like a CC top laner. Let's say you have like Maokai, for example. Let's just use Maokai. You have Maokai top lane against, I don't know, some champion, Irelia or something.
Okay.
You just want to camp that lane because that's the easiest lane to get kills in. He just roots her. Boom, she's rooted. And then he knocks her back. And then if you're there, you guys have enough damage to kill her. And then let's say your mid laner is like Kassadin or Katarina, and your bot lane's like Janna and like, I don't know, like Sivir. That lane has no CC, so if you gank it and you're KhaZix, you also have no CC. The only way you kill that lane is if one, they're already fighting, or two, they're like overextended with no vision. So the probability of that happening is pretty low. So I would just gank the lane that has the most CC. Renekton is the perfect champion. You always camp that guy's lane
I
because he
agree.
just has a point and click stun. And it's just so easy to gank for. And he
Plus-
usually takes press the attack or conquer.
I think
Yeah, and if
in
he
every
gets ahead,
scenario,
he just snowballs and just makes the enemy top laner not be able to play the game. So
makes the enemy team not be able to play.
yeah.
I love it
So-
when I acted on my until they get first blooded. Then I'm
Yeah. Riven's also good. If you have Braum and like Lucian bot lane, that's really good. Mid, I'd say Vigar's pretty good. Annie's pretty good for ganking for, and Echo's not that bad because he has two gap closers, so he's pretty good as well.
I haven't seen an Annie played in such a very.
People should play her. She's OP. I played against Annie bot like 3 times today. I hated it. But yeah, always just make sure you're looking at which lanes are gankable. Because the only gankable lane is bot, well, bot and top, but Camille's like hard to gank because she just E's. You know, she's not very. She has so much mobility that it's hard. So, and then mid lane, if he has his tornado up, yeah, you can gank it. But Diana is just so tanky too. Like her W is insane. Was this 225 damage it blocks? It's like your whole combo.
Right.
If she's unisolated, that is. So yeah, just bot lane was just the move here, the camp. Galio has so much CC and Sivir does so much damage. Especially if they're locked down, her boomerang hits both times, it's over. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of this game.
Guess I'll hit you up.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down. If we could do a live game, that'd be good too.
Guess it's a session.
Yeah. It was a good one. I think there's definitely some good points there about alting in and out and like your build.
For sure.
So remember just to keep that in mind. You Black Cleaver and Executioner's Calling with W evolve is so good. You proc it on 3 people, boom, their healing's gone. And healing is so important in this meta. Every champion fucking heals in this meta. Every single one of them.